Oster stood alone. Same with the food processor. But Oster brought something better to life. The kitchen center appliance. It's a stand mixer, food processor, and more.
President Trump announcing a major policy change via Twitter today, barring transgender individuals from serving in the military in any capacity.
You better stop quick, because 1 out of 3 of you will turn queer. And if we catch you in vow with a homosexual, your parents are going to know about it first.
When breaking in any new worker, and of course especially a woman, you've got to explain every angle of the process down to the last detail. And since most of them lack mechanical background, you've got to study every job and subdivide it into simple operating steps.
To me, the man who sits across from you is a god. He listens carefully to your delicious voice and your laughter. And if I meet you suddenly, my tongue breaks up and I can't speak. A thin flame runs under my skin. There's only noise, can't see a thing. Cold sweat brushes down on me and trembling seizes me. I'm paler than the grass drying, oh yes it seems, and
Good morning and welcome to Femme Central. I am your host, Marilu Corwin. Today's show is a special gender blender program in celebration of Pride Month. And joining me in the studio is guest co-host Salem Corwin, who not only handpicked all the songs you'll hear today, but will also be performing live later in the show. Salem is a non-binary actor and songwriter from the Hudson Valley and a recent graduate of Buffalo State College. They played Pepper in the Hudson Valley's premiere of Mamma Mia at the Phoenicia Playhouse, and are a recurring cast member of the Trans Voices Cabaret at the Duplex in New York City. Offstage, Salem is in the process of releasing their first album, an entirely acoustic blend of original songs and covers, with the goal of only using one-take recordings. You can learn more about them at salemcorwin.com. Welcome, Salem.
Thank you, and happy Pride Month. Mom, the one thing you forgot to mention is that I am indeed your offspring. I am your child. Hello, Mother.
Hello.
Hello. So yeah, happy Pride Month. Those audio clips you heard in the intro were extracted from a 1980s Blender commercial, and various historical videos from homophobic school assemblies to sexist industrial training videos of the 1940s and 50s. And the song you heard at the end of the intro was Chagall's Sappho song, which she composed and based on Sappho's famous Poem of Jealousy. For today's show, we thought it was only appropriate to commence this musical time travel journey with a song that combines cutting-edge synthesizer technology and the words of the most ancient lesbian poet, Sappho. It appears that the gender blender time machine has brought us back almost 100 years, right back to the 1920s. Since we're here, the first song I would love to play for you is Prove It On Me Blues. This song was released in 1928 by Ma Rainey, aka the mother of the blues. Rainey was a black American blues pioneer who wrote and sang much of her own music during the 1920s and 30s. Though Ma Rainey had a husband, she very openly wrote and sang songs about lesbianism and her own attractions to other women. Though her contributions to the American blues world are unparalleled, censorship and conformity towards a more white, puritanical set of interests in the corporate music industry at the start of the 1930s has put Ma Rainey's work on the back burner. Here's some of the lyrics we're about to hear, because this recording is a little old and a little grainy, but it was the clearest I could find, so here's some of the lyrics we're about to hear. Bear in mind, this is 1928. They say I do it, ain't nobody caught me, sure got to prove it on me. Went out last night with a crowd of my friends, they must have been women, 'cause I don't like no men. It's true, I wear a collar and a tie, makes the wind blow all the while. Don't you say I do it, ain't nobody caught me, you sure got to prove it on me.
Went out last night, had a great big fight. Everything seems to go wrong. I looked up to my surprise, the gal I was with was gone. Where she went, I don't know. I mean to follow everywhere she goes. Folks said I'm crooked, I didn't know where she took it. I want the whole world to know. They say I do it, ain't nobody caught me. Sure got to prove it on me. Went out last night with a crowd of my friends. There must be women, 'cause I don't like no men. It's true I wear a collar and a tie, make the wind blow all the while. But to say I do it, ain't nobody caught me. They sure got to prove it on me.
That was Prove It On Me Blues by Ma Rainey. The second song that we're about to hear is Money Blues, performed in 1926 by Bessie Smith, another hugely successful black female blues singer during the 1920s and 30s in America, nicknamed the Empress of the Blues. During Bessie Smith's vaudeville career, she challenged herself to sing without any assistance of a microphone, and this vocal ferocity carried over into her musical recordings. I'm bringing us from Ma Rainey to Bessie Smith because although Bessie Smith was also married to a husband, it has been rumored, emphasis on rumored, that Smith and Rainey had an ongoing affair while Rainey was showing Smith the ropes of the industry. Bessie Smith is also said to have had affairs with other women, but above everything and everyone around her, and beyond the stories and the rumors, Bessie Smith found joy and peace in her music. So here's Money Blues by Bessie Smith. That was Money Blues, performed by Bessie Smith.
The time is 10:17, and you're listening to WIOX Community Radio, live and local in the Catskill Mountains at 91.3 FM and MTC Cable Channel 20, and everywhere at WIOXradio.org, where it's easy to donate if you like what you hear. You can also get WIOX on any smart device through the TuneIn or FM radio apps. You're listening to Femme Central with Marilu Corwin and guest co-host Salem Corwin.
That was Money Blues, performed by Bessie Smith. This next song I have for you is performed by Gladys Bentley, a wildly successful black female lesbian composer and performer, also during the 1920s. According to TheRoot.com, Bentley would later recall being conflicted about her sexual identity from an early age, feeling more comfortable in her brother's clothes than her own. A long-term crush on one of her female school teachers led her mother to seek help from doctors in an effort to fix her daughter. Gladys Bentley's own solution, from the age of 8, was to write and perform songs and stories, an emotional outlet that would become a career. At the cusp of her young adulthood, a music club in New York City, the Madhouse Club, set out to hire a new male pianist. Despite her gender, Gladys Bentley got the job and achieved fame almost overnight. Clad in a white tuxedo and a top hat, Bentley would play her piano and sing all night long with an unwavering energy, and was known for flirting with the ladies in the crowd during her performances. Langston Hughes actually witnessed her performances and wrote about her. It's really beautiful. Despite her raging New York City success, Gladys Bentley has somewhat faded into obscurity due to her raunchy and diverse subject matter, which has kept her out of mainstream news and history books. Gladys publicly married a white woman in 1931, but her childhood guilt surrounding her sexuality followed her long into adulthood. She married again to a man in the 1950s and claimed to have, in quotations, overcome her strange affliction of lesbianism by taking female hormones. The song I've chosen from Gladys Bentley's career is from Before This Sad Ending, published in 1928, the same year as Prove It On Me Blues by Ma Rainey. This song, Worried Blues, is about a working woman who refuses to financially support a man. It features lyrics such as, "Give my man everything from a diamond ring on down. Next thing I'm gonna give him, 6 feet in the cold, cold ground."
I'll make you men folk treat us women like you do. Ooh, la da 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 da. I'll make you men folk treat us women like you do. Ah, da 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 da. I don't want no man that I got to give my money to. Ooh, la da da da. Wrote me a letter, never nothing but a no. Ooh, la da 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 da. Wrote me a letter, never nothing but a no. Da 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 da. Wrote right back and told him, man, I ain't no Billy Goat. Da 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 da. Give my man everything from a diamond ring on down. Give my man everything from a diamond ring on down. Ooh, da 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 da. Next thing I'm gonna give him, 6 feet in the cold, cold ground. Da 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 da. You can never tell what an old man can do. Ooh, da 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 da. Never tell what an old man can do. Ooh, da 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 da. Keep your eyes open, girl, 'cause he'll put that thing on you. Da 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 da. 'Cause you ain't been got hot, papa. Ain't no signal that you can't be had. Ooh, da 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 da. 'Cause you ain't been got hot, papa. Ain't no signal that you can't be had. Da 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 da. If I put this thing on you, baby, gonna be just too doggone there. Da 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 da. Mighty hard for you women to keep a real good man nowadays. Ooh, da 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 da. Mighty hard for you women to keep a real good man nowadays. And these little young chippy gals got so many doggone different ways. Ain't no hunting more for you than the good Lord ever done. Did more for you than the good Lord ever done. Put clothes on your back, you know darn well you wasn't born right now.
We just heard Worried Blues by Gladys Bentley. Before that was Money Blues, performed by Bessie Smith. And before that was Ma Rainey's Prove It On Me Blues. That's a lot of blues, huh? This next song I have for you is called The Man I Love, performed by jazz pianist Billy Tipton. Billy Tipton was a very successful touring jazz pianist whose career took off during the Great Depression, of all times. He was supposedly married 5 times, became a father of 3 children, and lived to be 74. However, upon his deathbed examination in 1989, it was discovered that Billy had been born biologically female. I say these words in quotation marks, biologically female, because gender is really a social construct. If you identify as male, then you are a male, and your body is male. But in order to simplify the story and to reach a broader level of understanding today, I will be using the term biologically female. According to his close family, Billy's life as a man began as an attempt to break into the then male-dominated music industry, but with time, it became apparent that this life meant much more to Billy Tipton than building his career. Since even those closest to Tipton did not know of his secret until death, what we know about his gender identity can only be boiled down to how he referred to himself, and in his choice to live, again in quotations, fully as a man, from around 1940 onwards until his death. As you will hear in this song, Billy Tipton's piano skills will forever surpass his somewhat mysterious personal legacy. I hope that you enjoy The Man I Love by Billy Tipton. That was The Man I Love, performed by Billy Tipton. Moving further through time, this rendition of You Are My Sunshine was performed by none other than Wilmer Broadnax and the Golden Echoes in 1963. Nicknamed Little Axe, Wilmer Broadnax was a gospel tenor who sang with several different popular quartets from the 1930s through the 1960s. Not much about Wilmer's personal life was known to the public until 1992, when he was stabbed to death by his wife. A week later, upon his death, his autopsy revealed that, just like Billy Tipton, Broadnax had been born biologically female. As someone who had seamlessly performed within the tight-knit black gospel community for 6 solid decades, this invasive public reveal left shockwaves through the music community that have never fully settled. So, here for you is the legendary and incredibly talented Little Axe performing You Are My Sunshine. That was Wilmer Broadnax and the Golden Echoes singing You Are My Sunshine.
You're listening to Femme Central with Marilu Corwin on WIOX Community Radio.
WIOX is supported by the Emerson Resort and Spa, home of Wood Notes Grill, for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and handcrafted cocktails made with fresh, locally sourced ingredients. Open 7 days a week, 845-688-2828 or emersonresort.com. WIOX is supported by the Catskill Mountain News, delivering news, features, arts, entertainment, and sports weekly since 1863. Available on newsstands by subscription or online at CatskillMountainNews.com. Catskill Mountain News, intensely local, uniquely personal.
This is Femme Central with Marilu Corwin and guest co-host Salem Corwin.
Sorry about that. This is my first time trying to coordinate between microphones. And can we just appreciate for a second that this is Marilu, aka my mother's, second radio show ever, and she is killing it. Slow clap from me. So one of the purposes of the show was to showcase that the human voice has no gender. You can think that someone sounds like a certain gender or sounds a certain way, and then you can learn about them and hear different things. Be like, oh, actually, that person sounds like a woman, or actually, that person sounds like a man. But one of the big things I wanted to showcase here was that not only is the term of femme shifting to include gender identity and not just femininity, but the human voice has an incredibly diverse spectrum and does not have a gender. Okay, and now, dear listener, the time has come to shift from the 1950s and 60s into the age of disco, the 1970s. This next song, You Make Me Feel Mighty Real, was released by American disco legend Sylvester in 1978. Sylvester started singing gospel at a young age, drawing inspiration from musicians like Bessie Smith and Billie Holiday. He is known for being one of very few openly gay American artists during the 1970s, and for his gender-defying performances. Sylvester's persona today may be considered drag by some, but to Sylvester, women's clothing, in quotation marks, was just his style. It was Sylvester's gloriously groundbreaking femme persona and aesthetic that inspired me to include him in today's Gender Blender special. Sylvester passed away in 1988 from complications due to AIDS, but his music has remained a permanent fixture on American dance floors and within the queer community.
When we're out there dancing
That was Sylvester performing You Make Me Feel Mighty Real. Moving right along into the 1980s, there are very few who are not familiar with the name Liberace. This next song is called I'll Be Seeing You, and it was performed live by Liberace himself in 1980, Las Vegas. I have decided to include this entire recording purely for the dialogue preceding Liberace's angelic piano ballad. Liberace was a wildly, flamboyantly spirited gay man who remained in the closet until his death in 1987 due to AIDS. The spirit of Liberace lives on in our hearts and in our ears as an unapologetically, gender role-defying femme icon.
Lee, people have been looking up at your jewelry through the whole show. Would you mind doing some close-ups with some of the people?
I'd love to.
Would you ladies like to see them close up?
Sure.
I'd
love to, sure.
Go ahead. Come on up.
All of my jewelry has been given to me by wonderful people I've worked for throughout my career. The first ring I got was the candelabra ring. I see. That was given to me by Bill Hara up at Lake Tahoe. And my mother gave me this Russian sapphire. It's been in our family for 3 generations. And this one was given to me when I did the Royal Command performance for Queen Elizabeth in London. And the bracelet is the only thing I have.
look at that.
It has my nickname on it.
Lee.
My friends call me Lee. It's one of my nicer nicknames. I have others. Yeah.
That's wonderful. We thank you for all those close shots. Of course, you'll be mugged before you get out of the building. We'd like to close our show this week in Las Vegas, the way my co-host closes his show every night. So here's my friend Liberace.
Thank you very much, Mike. May I say, this really was an exciting show to be on, and I think it's one of the best shows I've ever done with Mike. Really. I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut tree, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's warm and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you, audience. You've been so gracious and lovely. Thank you very much.
That was Liberace singing I'll Be Seeing You. This next song I have for you is by an artist that, again, very few will not recognize. While many think of Prince as an androgynous male heartthrob, few discuss the deeper nature of his gender-blending, often femme persona. In what Rolling Stone magazine named the 4th boldest career move in the history of rock, Prince liked to be recognized by a purple symbol more so than his name for a big portion of his career. This iconic purple symbol was a combination of the symbols for male and female, with a curly swoosh at the top that resembled an ancient Egyptian symbol for good health and royal power. Prince's unabashedly femme appearance is one of the things that assisted his rise to stardom. He often wore ruffled shirts, velvet or rhinestoned blazers, and a smooth swipe of black eyeliner. Prince lived his truth unapologetically and beautifully. I have chosen to play Prince's 1984 hit song, I Would Die For You, because of the opening lyrics, which read, I am not a woman, I am not a man, I am something you will never understand. It makes me wonder, if Prince had been born and raised within the parameters of a more recent generation, would he have used words like non-binary or gender fluid to describe himself? The beauty of this question is that only Prince would know. Here is I Would Die For You. That was I Would Die For You.
The time is now 10:47. You're listening to WIOX Community Radio live and local in the Catskill Mountains at 91.3 FM and MTC Cable Channel 20 and everywhere at WIOXradio.org, where it's easy to donate if you like what you hear. You can also get WIOX on any smart device through the TuneIn or FM radio apps. You're listening to Femme Central with Marilu Corwin and guest co-host Salem Corwin. The temperature right now outside our studios in Roxbury is 72 degrees, and the time is 10:48.
And again, happy Pride Month. Moving along into the 90s, I present another member of the American music royal family, the Queen herself, Queen Latifah. Nicknamed the First Lady of Hip-Hop, Queen Latifah has been a part of the hip-hop music scene since the late 80s. Over the years, she has become a world-renowned Grammy-winning actress, record producer, and rapper. One of my favorite connections between Queen Latifah and our previous performers is that Latifah actually played Bessie Smith in the 2015 HBO film Bessie. Latifah's sexuality has been the subject of rumor for years. She has appeared on red carpets with supposed female lovers, has been spotted kissing women on vacations, and has played an impressive array of lesbian characters in film. But Latifah has never publicly or officially come out. She has said, "I don't have a problem discussing the topic of somebody being gay, but I do have a problem discussing my personal life," which, as both a performer and an LGBTQ person, I have an enormous respect for. Though Queen Latifah has an iconic array of her own original music, the song I have chosen to play for you is taken from the 2007 film Hairspray. In this scene of the film, Tracy Turnblad has settled on the decision to end her television career by marching for civil rights with Motormouth Mabel, played by Queen Latifah. Without further ado, here is I Know Where I've Been, sung by Queen Latifah from Hairspray.
Tracy.
You're gonna pay a heavy price.
I know.
You'll never dance on TV again.
If I can't dance with Seaweed and Little Inez, then I don't want to dance on TV at all. I just want tomorrow to be better.
There's a light in the darkness, though the night is black as my skin. There's a light burning bright, showing me the way, but I know where I've been. There's a cry in the distance. It's a voice that comes from deep within. There's a cry asking why. I pray the answer's up ahead, 'cause I know where I've been. There's a road we've been traveling, lost so many on the way, but the riches will
That was I Know Where I've Been from Hairspray, performed by Queen Latifah. Before that was Prince's I Would Die For You and Liberace with I'll Be Seeing You. All right, now that we're all crying, it's time to move further into the 90s. This next song, Give Me One Reason by Tracy Chapman, was released in 1995, the year that I was born. Thank you, Tracy. While Chapman also prefers not to put her romantic life in the limelight and has never publicly come out, it is known that she had a relationship with author Alice Walker, which was kept a secret until after it ended. Chapman's smooth, deep, haunting voice has slowly become a staple in lesbian culture. Beyond her music, Chapman has spent a large portion of her life advocating for LGBTQ, gender, and racial equality as well. In the music video for this song, Tracy is singing and playing guitar in a club. Along with the general atmospheric dancing shots, we are shown the smiling lips of a woman, watching Tracy's performance from afar. The video ends with this mystery woman abruptly exiting the club, indicating that the song was written about her. One Reason by Tracy Chapman.
You're listening to Femme Central with Marilu Corwin on WIOX Community Radio.
You're listening to WIOX Roxbury, New York, and WIOXradio.org. It's in your water shed. WIOX is supported by Town Tinker Tube Rental for 40 years, offering whitewater tubing adventures on the Esopus Creek in Phoenicia, New York. Open 7 days a week. More information at towntinker.com.
Read it now. This is Femme Central with Marilu Corwin. Today's show is a special Gender Blender program in celebration of Pride Month. And here in the studio with me is guest co-host Salem Corwin, who not only handpicked all the songs you're hearing today, but will be performing live in the studio in just a few minutes.
What up?
Salem is a non-binary actor and songwriter from the Hudson Valley and a recent graduate of Buffalo State College.